Okay, so let's talk about the problem. Every single week, right, there's a new AI announcement, a new model, a new tool, a new framework, some new thing that's supposed to change everything. And if you're not a full-time AI researcher, it is so easy to feel completely lost.
You start to wonder, what's actually real here? What really matters? What am I supposed to learn first? The problem is just the sheer density of it all. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose, and it makes it almost impossible for anyone who's not a specialist to keep up. It's just overwhelming.
And this is what it feels like, doesn't it? One week, it's some new model that's shattering all the benchmarks, and the very next week, there's a tool that can automate a whole new part of your job. It all just creates this constant background noise and this nagging feeling that you're somehow falling behind.
So this is the big question, right? When it feels like everything is important, where in the world do you actually start? How do you separate the signal from all of that noise?
Well, you begin with a map. We basically made the guide we wish we'd had when we were starting out. This is the complete picture. We're not going to drown you in every single product out there. Instead, we're going to give you a clear, comprehensive guide. By the end of this, you will know exactly what to focus on, and just as importantly, what you can safely ignore.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to cover the 5 foundational models that truly matter. Then we'll dive into the 4 essential tool categories so you can understand what AI can actually do. After that, we'll lay out a simple 3-tier skill ladder, what to learn and in what order. And finally, we'll give you a framework to build your own personal AI roadmap. All right, let's get into it.
First up, the models. A frontier model is just the most capable AI that exists right now, the absolute cutting edge. A really good way to think about it is like processor chips in a computer. You know how Intel has different chips for different things? Some are super fast but expensive, others are really efficient and cheap. Well, AI models work exactly the same way. And right now, in 2026, you really only need to know about 5 major players. And here they are, the big 5. We've got Claude 4 from Anthropic. We have 2 key models from OpenAI, GPT 4.1 and o4 Mini. There's Google's Gemini 2.5 Pro, the open source beast DeepSeek R2, and finally, Grok 3 from xAI. So let's break down what makes each one special.
First up is Claude 4 from Anthropic, and it comes in 2 flavors. You've got Sonnet 4.6, which is like your everyday workhorse. It's fast, it's smart, and it can handle pretty much anything you throw at it. But then you have Opus 4.6. This one is the deep thinking model. It's a bit slower, yeah, but it's way more powerful, which makes it perfect for complex reasoning and nuanced tasks. What really sets Claude apart is that professionals consistently rate it as the #1 model for writing and analysis. It's the go-to when you need an AI to think carefully, not just give you a fast answer. Next, over at OpenAI, they have 2 distinct specialists. On one hand, you have GPT 4.1, which is just a creative powerhouse. It's incredible for brainstorming, it can generate amazing images, and it has this massive ecosystem of plugins. On the other hand, you have o4 Mini. Think of this one as the reasoning specialist. It's specifically built for math, logic, and step-by-step problem solving. So if you need an AI that can literally show its work and double-check its own logic, o4 Mini is just extraordinary for its size and cost.
Now let's talk about Google's Gemini 2.5 Pro. Its superpower is research, period. And that's all thanks to its absolutely massive 1 million token context window. So what does that actually mean? It means you can give it an entire research paper, a whole novel, a complete legal document, and it will process all of it with real understanding. No other model in its class can handle that kind of volume.
And then we've got DeepSeek R2. This is the open source powerhouse, and it comes from China. It's totally free to run on your own computer, which means your data stays completely private. When this thing launched, it matched the performance of models that cost 10 times more, and it basically forced every other AI company to slash their prices just to keep up. So for developers, or really anyone who deals with sensitive data, DeepSeek R2 was a total game changer. And finally, there's Grok 3 from xAI. Its whole thing, its main differentiator is real-time information. You see, most other models have a knowledge cutoff date, but Grok is deeply integrated with X, the platform we used to call Twitter. This gives it access to current events, what people are talking about right now, and live data. If you're in journalism, finance, or any job where you need an AI that knows what happened 5 minutes ago, Grok 3 is in a league of its own.
Okay, let's pull all that together. Just think of this like a toolbox. For writing and analysis, you're going to reach for Claude. For creative brainstorming, it's GPT 4.1. To synthesize a mountain of documents, you want Gemini 2.5 Pro. For logic and math, it's o4 Mini. For private local use, DeepSeek R2. And for what's happening right now, you use Grok 3. The most important thing here is that you don't have to pick just one. The people who are getting the most out of AI know exactly which tool to grab for each specific job.
So, now that we've got a handle on the foundational models, the engines, if you will, we can move to the next layer of our map, the tools. This is all about what AI can actually do for you. And there are 4 main categories that really matter right now.
And here they are: conversational AI, coding AI, creative AI, and the one that is getting more and more important, agentic AI. This is your high-level look at the AI toolbox. So let's break down each one.
Let's start with conversational AI. We're talking about things like Claude.ai and ChatGPT. You open a web page, you type something, you get an answer. This is where most people start. And honestly, it's where most people stop. But the real magic here isn't just getting one-off answers. It's about learning to use it as a true thinking partner. The people getting amazing value out of this are having these deep intellectual conversations with the AI, pressure testing their own ideas, asking it to find flaws in their logic. It's like having a brilliant, tireless collaborator on call 24/7.
Next up is coding AI. And a huge player here is Claude Code. Now, this is so important, especially for non-developers. You do not have to be a coder to use this. The skill it rewards isn't your knowledge of Python, it's your ability to describe very precisely and clearly what you want to build. Now, for people who are developers, there's GitHub Copilot. That's less about building a whole app and more like an autocomplete that can practically read your mind, suggesting the next chunk of code as you type. Then, of course, you have creative AI, which is all about generation. For images, Midjourney is really the aesthetic leader. It produces professional quality visuals. For video, you have tools like OpenAI's Sora that can create short video clips just from a text description. And for voice, 11 Labs is the leader in synthesis. It can clone a voice from just a tiny sample. This whole space is moving at lightning speed.
And finally, we have agentic AI. Now, this is easily the most important and probably the least understood category. An AI agent doesn't just respond to you. It takes a goal and actually pursues it over multiple steps. It can make its own decisions, it can use tools, and it completes complex tasks without you having to guide it at every single turn. It's really about moving from just having a conversation to actual execution.
And we're already seeing some key players emerge here. You have OpenClaw, which is a powerful open-source framework that connects AI models to your real-world tools, like your email or your calendar. OpenAI has something called Operator for web-based tasks, and Anthropic has given Claude something they call computer use, the ability to literally see your screen, move your mouse, and operate your software just like a person would. This isn't science fiction anymore. This stuff is here, and it's getting better every quarter.
All right, so we've covered the models and we've covered the tools. Now, let's talk about skills. This is your 3-tiered skill ladder. It's designed to guide your learning journey from total beginner to advanced. This is what you actually need to focus on learning, and in what order.
We start at Tier 1. These are the high-impact, low-effort skills. And the most important one by far is effective prompting. This isn't about secret tricks or anything like that. It's just about clear communication. A great prompt has 5 key elements. You give it context, you specify the format you want, you provide an example of what good looks like, you state what it should avoid, and you ask for a specific length. A prompt with these 5 things consistently beats a simple one-line request by like 3 to 5 times. This is the single most transferable skill in AI today.
Now for Tier 2, these skills, they take a little more setup, but they deliver these massive compounding returns. First is what's called MCP integration. It's a technical term, but it really just means connecting a model like Claude to the cloud-based tools you use every day, like Gmail or Slack. Next is vibe coding. Even if you can't code, you can learn to describe the software you want with so much clarity that an AI can build it for you. And finally, AI research workflows. Learning to use Gemini's long context power to synthesize huge amounts of information, turning hours of reading into a super-focused research session.
Finally, we get to Tier 3. These skills, they're a real investment, but mastering them puts you in a completely different league. And the key skill here is developing multi-model workflows. This means you're designing processes that use multiple AI models in a sequence, playing to the unique strengths of each one for different parts of a big, complex task. So, what does that actually look like? Well, imagine you're writing a big report. You might start with Gemini to do the heavy lifting, the research across dozens of documents. Then, you'd pass that summarized info over to Claude for some deep analysis and to write the first draft. After that, you could even use GPT 4.1 to brainstorm some creative headlines or different summary options. I'm telling you, the professionals who are doing this are creating work that people using just a single model simply cannot match.
Okay, I know we've covered a lot, so for this last section, we want to leave you with a really practical framework. This isn't just a list of apps to download, it's a way of thinking that will help you make the right AI decisions for yourself for years to come. This is your personal AI roadmap.
Step 1 is to just audit your tasks for 1 week. That's it. Write down every recurring task you do. At the end of that week, sort every single one into one of 4 buckets. Is this task mostly information processing? Is it content generation? Is it technical execution? Or is it about human relationships? Be really thorough. Everything you do fits into one of those 4 buckets.
Step 2. Start automating the first 3 buckets. Information processing, content generation, and technical execution. All of these can be seriously accelerated by AI. But here's the secret. Don't try to do it all at once. Just pick the single task that costs you the most time from each of those first 3 categories, and then spend a week learning to use AI for just that task. The key is to build reliable habits one at a time.
And now for step 3, which is all about that 4th bucket, human relationships. This is the work that requires your genuine presence, your empathy, your authentic point of view. This is where your irreplaceable value truly lives. Use the time that AI frees up to go deeper into this work, have better conversations, build stronger expertise. This isn't the work that AI takes away from you. This is the work that AI makes infinitely more valuable by making everything else cheaper.
And the final step, step 4. Reassess every 3 months. This AI landscape is not standing still. What is cutting edge today might be totally standard tomorrow. So put 90 minutes on your calendar every quarter to review your setup, see what's new, and upgrade anything that's outdated. People who treat AI as a set-it-and-forget-it tool are going to fall behind, but the ones who treat it like an evolving partnership, they will keep compounding their advantage.
We know this was a fire hose of information, and we did that on purpose because you came here for the whole picture. So let's just boil it all down. The AI tools we have access to today are more powerful than anything we saw in science fiction just 10 years ago. But the crucial point is this. The skill that determines whether these tools actually change your life is your willingness to learn them systematically, one layer at a time.
You now have the map. You have the models, the tools, the skills, and the roadmap. What you do with it, well, that's the human part. And that's the one thing that nobody can ever automate. So the only real question left is, where will you go first?
If this guide helped you finally see the full picture, please share it with someone else who needs it. This landscape moves incredibly fast, and we're moving right along with it. Subscribe and turn on your notifications, and we'll be here every step of the way as this incredible story continues to unfold.